Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. And today I'm going to share 5 impactful things that I learned from reading a book. It was a book that I read over Christmas, and I will give my brother credit because he brought it. And then he bought a copy for my dad. And then I read it, and then my mom read it, and we all passed it around. But the book was called The Comfort Crisis. And you guys, I'm a big reader. I love to read. And this was one of the best books that I have read. And so it's in the nonfiction category. A lot of my books are fiction, but it's really, really good. So the author's name is Michael Easter, and it just really pushed me out of my comfort zone, you guys, as I was reading it, because the whole premise is basically how we are a culture that is so dependent upon our comfort, aka the comfort crisis. So everything, physically, even our houses, our cars, the air control that we have of the temperature, where we are physically, where we are mentally and socially and spiritually, everything is just to keep us comfortable and safe and all of it. Now that sounds very positive at first, but what ends up happening is you limit your growth and who you are as a person because you never push limits outside of being comfortable. So I'm going to kind of go through a list of a couple of things that stuck out to me about the book because I think it also pairs a lot when it comes to money. So we talk a lot about things being uncomfortable, especially if you're in a season of sacrifice of paying off debt. Maybe it's, we're funding retirement and it just kind of feels like a stretch. Whatever's going on, there is a growth that is happening financially when you push those limits. So again, lots to learn here, but at the end of the day, I want us all to be able to recognize patterns in our life, habits that we create. Because when you actually understand those, then you can take control of your life and understand, okay, I need to change some of that. And I want a more meaningful life over here. So maybe I need to kind of push my limits in that area. So let's dive in. Okay. First and foremost, I would say one of the biggest things that I took away from the book is that we live in a world where everything is created specifically for our highest level of comfort. You think about it, and even the commercials that you see on TV, maybe the ads you hear on podcasts, it's all about a comfortable mattress and soft sheets and comfortable tennis shoes and luxury vehicles. All of this, it's every single company is marketing optimum comfort to its customers. Left and right, it's just here's a way to be comfortable. And the truth is, if we want to grow, there are things in our life that we have to be uncomfortable with because discomfort and resistance, that inspires change. So although, again, it's nice to be comfortable, I get it. If you have one of those products that I listed, I understand that. I have it too. But in a real way, you want to stretch yourselves if you want to be improving in your life. And of course, this looks like a lot of different ways. So whether it's even physically exercising, even if you're running outside and it's hot, still pushing yourself. Maybe it's actually getting away from your phone and technology for a bit and fasting in a sense of saying, okay, I'm going to cut out a lot of this digitalness that is going on. We had a digital detox at our church that basically everyone went through for about a month, and it was just so fascinating to see, if you don't have everything right there, it makes you look other places, and it's actually great. Maybe you just cut out luxuries that you don't need. So whether it's brand name clothing or really pricey coffee that you get all the time, whatever those cushions are in your life, it'd be interesting, a good experiment to eliminate some of them and just kind of see how your comfort changes over time. Because I'm going to guess that pushing your limits in those things is going to help you grow. And especially when it comes to your money and your spending habits, looking at those and saying, okay, what if I was a little bit uncomfortable here, and see where that takes you. So one of the things I always hate thinking about, what if something happens to me? What if something happens to my husband, Winston? What's going to happen to the family? There is a great solution, you guys, that really takes that part of worrying and stress and the not good feeling, kind of puts it at ease. And that is term life insurance. And Winston and I personally use Xander Insurance. And they're the best. They make the whole process, you guys, so easy. You give them your information and they go and they shop the top-rated companies for the best policy for you and your family's needs. So no one should go without term life insurance. So go check out Xander Insurance. Just go to xander.com to make sure that your family's future is taken care of. All right, the second thing that I took away from reading the book is that too much information can paralyze our progress. So because we have access to all the knowledge we could possibly want. And I think sometimes it does more harm than good. So, for example, the author talks about eating healthy. And he's like, there are millions of studies and they all seem to contradict each other when it comes to eating healthy food. I mean, there's stuff about pesticides or organic, or do you wash your fruit right away? Or should I just eat the fruit that is gonna help me with my immune system? Do I need to make sure that it's perfectly clean over here? What if all the peaches at the grocery store have little bruises on them? What's the right way to make, some good avocado toast? Like whatever it is, it's like we just get so obsessed with it. And his point is, instead of just obsessing about all of the stuff when it comes to healthy eating, just eat healthy. Just eat healthy. The problem isn't that we're not eating, healthy the right way. It's the fact that as a country, we're not eating healthy, right? So I just love the idea of oh my gosh, actually understanding that there's so much information and we can get paralyzed by trying to figure out how to do it right, when actually just start moving in the right way. And our bodies are resilient. So we have to stop being so afraid of every little thing that's gonna mess up or all of this stuff, right? And just actually dive in and say, hey, I'm gonna actually start making steps towards progress when it comes to, well, in this case, eating healthy, right? But listen, this can even apply to your budget. It can apply to your investing, because progress is progress. And some people want to wait around where they're looking for every little thing for the market to be exactly where they want it. And it's they get so paralyzed by all the information. But I think sometimes people feel like saving just, $10, $50, even $100 a month won't make a big difference in the long run, but the truth is it will. So just start somewhere, and slow and steady, you guys, wins the race. So set up that sinking fund and contribute small amounts to it over time to save up for something that you're wanting. And trust me, you're gonna look up in 6 months and just think, it's gonna be amazing to see how further along that you would be versus if you were still paralyzed by all the stuff and trying to control all the variables and do it exactly right and all this stuff. So I would also say the same principle applies to generosity too. So just take out a few smaller dollar bills to keep on hand and look for opportunities to give here or there. So it's these small acts that we can do give us power over our situation. All right, speaking of resilience, my third takeaway from the book is that we were built to do much harder things than we actually have to today. So if you think about it, most humans throughout history never had cars to take them places. They didn't have air conditioning to keep them cool or stoves to cook on. We can literally say, I'm going to say her name, and then probably if you're listening to this, yours is going to go off, but Alexa, say her name, and you just say, I need, more toilet paper, or what's the weather today? Whatever it is, you get anything you want right when you want it. And when the world is at our fingertips like that, it's so easy to forget that our bodies were actually made to do stuff, to run long distances and carry things on our backs. He talks about rucking, where you have the backpack with all the heavy stuff. It's literally how we were built, was to do strong things and things with our bodies. But today, in so many of our daily routines, it's we go to an office maybe and we sit. We just don't have to challenge our bodies like they were created. So it's just an encouragement, just to move and to do things that you were created to do. And the fourth thing that I learned is that everything we're talking about is true for our kids as well. So if you're a parent, you can probably relate to wanting to give your kids everything, right? It's kind of natural, and it's a beautiful thing to want to protect and give comfort to our kids, but it's also a place that, man, you can overdo it at times. So we can't shield them from everything. And after reading this book, I realized, oh my gosh, yeah, our kids need to be pushed to the limits, right? There was a section in the book and it talked about different traditions and different cultures and different times of history of it's there were certain cultures and tribes that would send their kids off. When the boy turned 12 or whatever, and they would take them miles away, drop them, and they had to figure out their way back, or they'd have to survive for 2 months out in the outback. It was the crazy stuff that a tribe would do, because they had to have people that had strength, that could figure out, having stamina for their body. And so what that really paints is this idea that, yeah, you have to be a useful human being. You have to understand how to build shelter and find food and have stamina to contribute to the tribe. So they kind of force that upon their culture. And they had to thrive in that. And again, now it's oh my gosh, every little thing. Oh, if you're cold, I have the jacket for it. It's we just, I don't know. It's so funny. I just feel how we just take care of especially our kids, which I understand they're kids, but also it's like, you need to be uncomfortable. You need to be uncomfortable. And like, that's a good thing. You got to figure it out. Okay. So obviously I'm not suggesting that we go drop our kids off in the outback and make them survive for a month. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying, gosh, what can we do with our kids to stretch them and to actually let them have some discomfort in their lives? Because let's be honest, they're kids and they're going to want goldfish and cookies and sit in front of the TV all day. Like that's if you ask them what they want, some of them, that's what they're going to choose. So it's actually saying, hey, let's push them out of their comfort zone, make them do things that are uncomfortable, because that's actually going to better them as they grow up to be adults. So maybe it's teaching them chores. Maybe it's saving up money for something that they have to like delay gratification. Maybe it's going through Target and telling them, you can't buy a toy. We're not going to go down the toy aisle. Or maybe it's limiting, their tablet time or screen time. Like, hey, we're going to cut that out. You got to go figure out something to do. Be bored. Figure something out. So it's kind of pushing them out of their comfort zones, which I think is really good because it builds strength and stamina in who they are. All right, finally, the fifth thing that I took away from the comfort crisis is really what I've been talking about the whole time. And that's just perspective is all you need to make hard choices that are really worth it in the end. So we all have different money habits that can just be comfortable to us. And some people are natural spenders, others are natural savers. And most of these tendencies were influenced by the environment that we grew up in. But if you're at a point in your life where you want to take control and build long-lasting wealth, then sacrifices probably will have to be made. And it's not always fun to tell yourself no, but what I've realized is, I'm an adult, you're an adult, and we have to make financial decisions every single day. So whether it's paying down student loan debt or credit card debt, or maybe it's making a smart car purchase that you're not buying a brand new car, maybe a used car, maybe it's when you're looking at a house and you're actually deciding, what can I actually afford versus just what do I want? You're making decisions all the time, you guys. And I think it really is important to say, if you want to get ahead, there's going to be a level of sacrifice, but it's not going to be forever. Like, I don't want people living this idea that, gosh, I'm going to have to sacrifice and be this intense all the time with my money. No, if I was telling you to do that your whole life, I feel like I would be a crazy person. But it's to actually have something that you can show for that. So it's saying, I'm going to sacrifice my lifestyle to get out of debt so that I can say yes later down the road. Or it's, I'm going to choose a house that we can actually afford so that we can do other things with our income. So it's really all of these important things and these sacrifices that are worth it. And if you're ready to make some tough but powerful changes in how you handle money, I would really encourage you guys to look at Every Dollar. This is the budgeting app that I use every single month to plan out my spending so that I know exactly where it's going. And you can download it for free today. So make sure to do that. And also check out Financial Peace University. This is our 9-week course that teaches you about the Ramsey baby steps, and it shows you exactly how to make better choices with your money, no matter where your starting point is. And for the record, Every Dollar and FPU are a match made in heaven. So do both of those. You can find both those tools at RamseySolutions.com. So make sure to check them out. All right, you guys, The Comfort Crisis. It's such a great read. I mean, I just really skimmed kind of the broad ideas of it, but it really is a very interesting book to kind of push you in your limits and how we are today as adults. So make sure to share this video with a friend who may appreciate some tough love when it comes to the mindset shifts that needs to happen for a lot of us. And all right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.